Hello, everyone. Are you able to hear us and see us? I'm your old friend, Christy Jinzhang. Nice to meet you all. So thank you for joining us for today's webinar about introducing the design school, all the programs and what our academic staff are doing, the research at XUTLU. Today, this webinar is original design for the international students and also the Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan students. But we have noticed some of the Chinese students also join us for this webinar. Please be notice that you are very welcome to be with us in the next 1 hour. So if you also have any questions regarding everything about the design school, please welcome to raise your inquiries at the QA session. So today we are very delighted to have two speakers from design school. The first one is Dr. Marco Simolo. He is now the Associate Dean for Learning and Teaching of the design school. And this is our student ambassador, very beautiful Tusa. So she's now pursuing the master's degree in sustainable constructions. So we will work together to do some QA session for to introduce you and help you to walk through about what the study life is like at HKTLU from the student perspective. So now let's welcome Dr. Marco Simolo to start his presentation about the design school at HKTLU.
Hello, thank you very much. Welcome everyone. Yes, my name is Marco and I am originally from Italy. I'm currently the Associate Dean of Learning and Teaching of the school, and that means that I oversee all our programs, and that's why I'm the one delivering this presentation. I also teach, among other courses, in the Master's of Sustainable Construction TUSAS studies. I will try to give you a brief introduction about the school, who we are, where we are, and what we offer in terms of programs and how we organize our teaching activities, our extracurricular activities, etc. And then, Jingsei, you are very welcome to raise your own questions if you want any specific information. So first of all, we are located in Suzhou, which is a beautiful city in the greater Shanghai area. This is, I think, relevant to you for different reasons. First, the city really is excellent. I've been living here now for 7-8 years, and it's really nice lifestyle it offers. It's a big city. It offers a range of cultural activities, but it's also, in terms of our disciplines, design, architecture, engineering, a very exciting place to be. What you see here in the two photos, for example, on the right, you have one of the classical Suzhou Garden, which is a UNESCO heritage site. So, for example, if you come here to study architecture, urban design, if you're interested in landscape design, this is the place to be. And also the contemporary landscaping and architecture are quite exciting in the city. You see on the left of these slides part of the Suzhou Industrial Park, which is a whole new development, urban development, and also the part of the city where we are located is a place that was originally planned and designed to attract foreign investment, and therefore we have a number of international companies, high-tech companies. And you can see some of the data, compare 1.1% of the land area of the country with 10% of the GDP or 18% of the new construction in these areas. So it's a really, dynamic part of the country, one of the powerhouses economically and also in our area. So again, it offers us a good network, and it offers also you good opportunities in terms of networking for yourself, but also future career opportunities. These are some images of our campuses. We are in the SIP campus, so in this more central part of the city, which are the two photos on the upper left corner and at the bottom of these slides. New campuses, state-of-the-art facilities, And also even newer, we have this other campus, the ring you see on the upper right corner is in Taicang, so closer to Shanghai, and is a whole new set of facilities focusing on industry collaboration. What is unique to this university is that we are a Sino-British joint venture university. We are the largest in China, and we are relatively young, but we were established in 2016, but have grown very quickly and have now, you can see, more than 20,000 students, more than 1,000 academics, more than 100 degree programs. We have maybe 12, 13 in our school alone. And being an international university offer a series of advantages. So the first one is that our university operates entirely in English, and this is important, especially if you are an international student, but also if you are Chinese and want to pursue a more international education or career, or in general you want to have a more international outlook in your education and future career. Also, being a joint venture with the University of Liverpool means that if you are an undergraduate student, you will get 2 degrees, one from the University of Liverpool, which is, by the way, one of the oldest and most prestigious universities in the UK, is part of the Russell Club, which is a sort of British Ivy League. So the group of the most prestigious and well-established institution in the UK, so leading universities in the world. It's also one, for example, they have one of some of the oldest schools of architecture, urban planning in the UK. They're very, very well established in our particular disciplines, engineering as well. If you enroll in one of our postgraduate degree courses, instead you will obtain a degree from the University of Liverpool that again will enable you to work worldwide. This is globally recognized. We have, I was mentioning before, really world-class facilities. You can see here some images of our workshops, hydraulic labs, fabrication labs, 3D printing, robotic arms, you name it. We have really state-of-the-art facilities. So whichever model making, anything. So whichever your discipline is in design, you will have access to all, the use of, again, state-of-the-art facilities for your projects, for your research, and, for developing your skills in these areas and conducting your experiments in your dissertations, etc. While you are studying here. What's unique to the design school is our, we like to think of ourselves as a very multidisciplinary school where there are many overlaps among the different disciplines, but also we kind of overlap with many other disciplines. So for me, for example, when I was a student, choosing architecture was also about this, because, you study a little bit of history of art, and then you study structures, and then math, physics, urban, sociology, etc., etc. So, and this is, the kind of approach that we have. We do believe that having a more holistic approach helps, forming, educating, well-rounded professionals and students in our programs. Of course, we have specialization, especially at the postgraduate level. We go very in-depth in some of the topics, but we keep open a number of opportunities for students to collaborate with students and academics from other disciplines. Organizationally, we have 4 departments, and you see them listed here: architectural, civil engineering, industrial design, and urban planning and design. But the programs, again, belong to the school, even though some are more closely related to one of the departments. Again, they are all of the school, and then in most cases, you will interact with modules, students, academics from different departments in the school. So this is more a way for us to organize actually research more than teaching. We have one of the most diverse and international body of academics in the university. You can see here 22 countries. I'm not even sure this is the most updated count. We are growing and hiring more people as we speak. And this, I think, is also, I believe, is an advantage, because diversity is a value. It allows us to incorporate in our education methodologies and also points of view and sort of experiences from all over the world. And this again, I think, offers a significant advantage to our students. And also for us, I mean, for me, for example, this is one of the things that makes my experience here, very enjoyable and interesting, to be able to interact with people from everywhere in the world. Same I can say for our research, and this, I'd like to corroborate what I was trying to tell you before about multidisciplinarity. This is graph that was generated by our library, and this is based on the areas where our publications are mapped in the systems. And you can see that we are in a number of different areas, from humanities to engineering, social sciences, etc. And this again informs our programs, and it means that you will have again many opportunities, different opportunities, for example, for research in your dissertation, in your final year projects, to work with specialists that do research in different fields and areas. This is an overview of our programs. So we finally got to probably the most relevant part for you. We have the full range of levels, from undergraduate to postgraduate to a PhD level. So at the undergraduate level, we have like the classic, disciplinary programs: architectural engineering, civil engineering, industrial design, and urban planning and design. And then what you see here in orange, this IETE, industry and enterprise education, is a summer program that you can take in addition to our curriculum, standard curriculum, if you want to gain more experience and collaboration with industry, if you want to expand your skills and your CV also for future employability. This is one of the opportunities that we offer, and I will show you later also many others. And then you can see that at the postgraduate level we have more programs, and that is because while the UG programs give you a solid foundation in your discipline, that at the UG level sometimes you want to go more in depth and gain specialization, and also sort of develop more in a particular direction according to your interests, according to your future career plans. Maybe there are too many to list them all, but I will also briefly introduce each of them later. And then the PhDs, again, is that they relate to research particularly, so they are organized by department, but in that case every single student chooses one individual research project, so that's completely personalized and specialized. This is to explain what is the structure of our undergraduate degrees. We have 4 years. I was mentioning before, we are a international, joint venture university. That means that we have, since we award 2 degrees, a Chinese one and a British one, we have to comply with both Chinese standards and British academic standards, quality standard. And that means that we have a very robust and multi-layered quality assurance system. So we can very confidently say that our education is up to scratch, because not only we comply with these different like governmental requirements, we have an accreditation from Liverpool, and then we also have a set of professional accreditation from industry bodies that again scrutinize regularly and confirm that our programs prepare our graduates well for their careers in the industry. Now, given these requirements, what happens is that we have, year one, what you see, stage one in the graphic here, which is a more general year where you take a number of more, general modules of math, English, Chinese, and then there are a number of elective modules that you can pick from a very wide pool according to your interests. And this first year allows our students to build a strong foundation to improve their English language skill or the Chinese language skills if they are in international students, and also to start preparing a little bit for the program. There are these, degree preparation modules. In some cases, international students can be admitted directly in year two. So in year two or stage two, we start the actual degree program, which is similar to what you would study, for example, in Liverpool. They have 3 years undergraduate programs. And then there are, different options. So there are what we call 2+2. It means you study 2 years in China and 2 years in Liverpool, in the UK, in Liverpool. All 4+0, it means you spend the 4 years in China. But even if you do spend the 4 years in China, you can still have access to some exchange program, shorter exchange program, for example, to Torino in Italy or to Leeds in the UK for our school. And we're trying to build more of this partnership. Or we also have, very often study trips or other international events so that you can have an international experience regardless of what, articulation pathway is when you make this choice. And then all students also take industry work placements, which is a requirement for everyone, and which is also useful again to develop your skills and your employability. And these are the 5 programs that we offer. So I think the titles here are quite self-explanatory, but maybe just very briefly, architecture is obviously about building, but also urban spaces a little bit, and it's more focused on design, space planning, aesthetics, but also the technical requirement of the building, sustainability of the building. And civil engineering is a more technical program in which you can then start a career in the design of buildings as well, more specifically industry structures. And the technical part, the plans, etc., but also work on infrastructures, for example, on bigger scale projects. Architectural engineering is sort of in between, so sort of engineering program more strongly specialized on buildings. And then we have urban planning and design, which is about the city, both the governance and the wider development of the city and the design of urban spaces. And then we have industrial design, which is at a smaller scale. So in that case, you can work in a number of sectors, from product design, for example, designing anything from a chair to a car to the interiors of an airplane, but also nowadays working on designing interfaces, for example, applications, etc. So it's really design is in general an area, a sector that offers you a range of different opportunities, and designers work in many different contexts. You might have heard about design thinking. Design thinking is a methodology that is used, a problem-solving methodology that is used in all fields of the industry, from business to planning. And it's called design thinking because it's based on the working methodology of designers. This is just to say again, design methodologies will give you very good skills, capacities to work with open-ended, complex problems, and so therefore to apply the skills and competencies in many fields of work and of the industry, but also further studies if you are at the UG level. This instead is an overview of what we offer at the postgraduate level. I will give this, in this case, a little bit more explanation about the individual program because, again, this is more specialization. So we have different types of degrees. So you will see in some cases it's called a Master of Science, MSc, or in other cases called Master of Architectural Design, Master of Design, Master of Research. So what it means is what you see here. It's the combination of taught credits, this lighter green part. Taught credit means those are modules where you attend lectures, studio, and lab classes, and then submit coursework or take an exam, etc. And then you have a research part, which is a deeper green part on the right, and that is the part where you develop your personal research, dissertation or project, depending on the program. And so in which again, like your project is more personal, and you can pursue your individual interests. And so the way these are organized determines the type of programs that you study and the name that it takes. These programs, most of our programs, you can see here like the logos, and also this applies to our UG programs, are accredited by international bodies, professional bodies. For example, RIBA is the architecture one. It's the Royal Institute of British Architects. We have the Joint Board of Moderators, JBM, for engineering, and we have the Chartered Society of Designers for industrial design. These are British-based, but they are internationally recognized. And for example, in architecture, there is something called Canberra Accord, which is an international partnership by which your validation from RIBA is also recognized in a number of other countries, including China, Japan, Australia, Korea, North America, etc., etc. And the same applies to JBM. In that case, it's called Washington Accord. And again, similar areas, Malaysia, around here, Japan, China, Australia, all these countries basically recognize that accreditation. So, and again, any country in the world, even if there is no international, like formal recognition, like the prestige of this institution is very well renowned and recognized everywhere in the world, I would say. Let me just very quickly go through the different specialization that we offer here. You can see also some of the modules, but then again, you can ask questions later. So urban planning and design, we have these two specializations. So urban planning is more about the governance, the policy making, large-scale development of cities, so development, management, economies of cities, which again is quite an exciting topic in China, given even the place where we are. So the Greater Shanghai area is one of the largest like urban agglomerates in the world. We have like the people who live in this area is the same as a average European country, like around 40 million, I think, in this area alone. And so this is, and there are all these sort of high tech development in there, smart cities, etc. So that are very promising fields in China in particular, but international. This is a big topic everywhere. Whereas urban planning with specialization in urban design is a program where you can see there are some design studio, some architecture modules. So in this case, it's a bit closer to architecture. So there is proper design. So you work with space already, placemaking, space design at the urban level, but it's more again about design that's large-scale planning, although there are overlaps between these two programs, so you do a bit of both in either case. And then for civil engineering, we have 3 programs in this area. One is Master of Science in Civil Engineering, so this is the classic, basically. Very solid, well-established program that will give you, very solid competencies in these areas that then you can apply to multiple areas. So again, structures, infrastructures, etc. Then we have a more specialized program on construction management. So in this case, it's not much about the design of the building, but about developing and managing, planning the construction process, which is a very complex and fascinating topic. Actually, it has to do with finance, logistic, but also now there are a number of technological development in these areas too. So smart planning, BIM, etc., etc. And then we have sustainable construction. So what you say, which is what Tusa here is studying. So what you say on our website is this. However, the program is undergoing modification. So the only reason why you still don't see the new structure is because the formal process of approval is still is yet to be finalized, but it's only formality. It will be in place next year. So this is not the actual structure of the program. What you will see is something like this. So there will be two different tracks. One called Sustainable Building Engineering, which is more general about, again, engineering buildings that are sustainable. So sustainability is the, greatest challenge of humanity in history, and definitely the, biggest topic of our times. And China is also in this area developing very fast in terms of policy making, raising the standards of building, and now there will be a whole new, set of developments in the area, for example, of sustainable retrofits, regeneration, etc. And then facade design, more specialized on facades. So facades is a very complex part of the building, and it makes up for around probably 40%, in some cases even more, of the budget, for example, of a building, just to have a figure of its importance. Is very complex because it's the part of the building through which energy exchanges happen. The aesthetic of the building is determined mostly from the facade. The performance, so insulation, waterproofing, acoustic performance is mostly concentrated in the facade. Structure most of the time interacts or is part of the facade itself. So this is a particularly complicated and fascinating part of building design, and therefore we have a specialized track. Is also, we believe this will be in high demand in the industry in the next few years, given the development that I was mentioning right before. Then in architecture, we have two programs. So the first one is the classic 2 years architectural design Master of Architecture, and this is the RIBA validated program. So if you want to become a traditional, quote unquote, architect and a chartered architect in particular, you want to take this one. Is the 2 years program, and it's about architectural design mostly. But we also have another newer program, in a way more flexible, that is called International Professional Practice in Architecture. So this one doesn't have the RIBA validation, but sort of facilitates it anyway, and has a different approach. So in this case, it's more interdisciplinary. So in this case, you also study things such as project management, how to make a business plan, how to, work in different areas of professional practice. So not just in the design, but also in the management of the processes and, the business area of architecture. So if that is the direction you want to take, you maybe are in architecture, but are more interested in other aspects rather than design itself, you can consider this program. If you are an early career professional who wants to develop skills and employability, then this is definitely something you should consider as well. And then finally, industrial design. So this is an MDes, so Master of Design. It means, you see here, it's 2 years as well, but 2 semesters are for the design research project. I mean, in this case, you don't need much specialization because half of the program is already your individual research projects. It is supported by academics and supervised, by academics as well. But it's already, that is the part where most of the specialization happens. And then the first 2 semesters will give you like the theoretical foundation and also the basic skills to work on the, not basic actually, this is a much more advanced skill to work on your research successfully. Right, so this is the full range of our programs. Now, quickly, I think I'm taking too much time. just to again reinforce some of the characteristics and of the school and why and how we operate. So I want to mention that every department has what we call an industry advisory board. This is a group of professionals and industry leaders that we use for consultation, and they help us creating, designing, and maintaining programs that are relevant to the industry. So the skills that we teach to our students are the ones that they expect, to then find in the graduates they would like to hire, for example, right? They advise us on industry trends, etc., etc. So what you see here relates to engineering, but we have one of these for every of the 4 departments in the school. So that again makes our programs relevant to your professional career. Also, if you want to expand your skills and your knowledge, again, to have better opportunities in the jobs market, which is nowadays, let's be honest, it's competitive, right? It's not very easy out there. And that's why we try to support students in different ways. So one other way that we have is to take what we call an extended study scheme certificate. So let's say, you studying architecture, but you want to, pursue your interest, for example, in at the urban scale, you can take one of these urban strategies and urban planning certificates. If you're studying engineering and you want to, or architecture engineering, and you want to know, more about architecture, then, vice versa, you can take architecture and then, maybe engineering, you want to know more about design and of the different disciplines. And, you see here the options are one mentioned, list them one by one, but I think you get a good idea. This is optional, so it's not something that you have to do, but it's something that you can do if you want. You can even select individual modules. So if there is one particular module that you like in our departments, you can take that too, and then have it recorded in your transcripts. We also have a very interesting platform called Learning Mall, Premium Learning Mall, through which we collaborate with a range of. You can see some listed here. Big names in the industry and culture, and you can access their own online education. Again, if you want to expand your expertise, your skills, and again, enrich also your curriculum, your resume for better employability. But we also have a very, I'm confident to say one of the richest programs of extracurricular activities in the universities. This is because, again, of our particular disciplines that are very much in some cases practice-based. So we try to showcase our students' work in a number of exhibitions. We have we like our students to take part in competition. We have a design research center that works particularly on that aspect. So you can join project with professional architects and academics there. We last year won the first prize, for example, this Jiangsu university competition. We took part in Solar Decathlon. We took part in a number of different initiatives that, again, give you options to whatever you're studying in the school to enrich and expand your knowledge and your skills. And then I also want to mention that we understand the challenges. We do our best to understand the challenges the students face, especially when starting a new program, moving to a new city, sometimes to a new country, new system, new language environment. And we try to help by offering a very comprehensive set of support provisions. So we have development advisory, mental health counseling, that will counsel and help you for any even personal matters, issues that you can go through while here, adapting to the new environment, etc. But we also have academic advisors who can offer guidance on more academic matters. We have industry mentors who are external to the school and who can mentor you, advise you on your future careers. And then we have a number of student clubs, activities, sport facilities to help you have a fulfilling also social life while you're here. We understand that your experience. We want your student experience to be good overall, not just what we offer in terms of education, but also the overall experience here in Suzhou and at the university. We have a number of graduates that have worked or are working in top companies, and these are some of the names. We are also, I think, there is one very interesting statistic, I think, at the very beginning here about the number of students, 88% who enroll, our UG students who enroll in top 100 universities. This is really outstanding and confirms that, again, that what we offer here is solid in terms of educational standards. Finally, we also have and maintain an alumni network. So once you become part of the family, you always be in contact with us if you want, of course, and have opportunities for networking, sharing information, take part in events, and help again, through your professional journey or research or academic journey if you continue that after leaving the university. So thank you.
Thank you,
Marco. It was too slow, but I hope there's enough time.
Yeah, fantastic. Honestly, even though as I'm the recruitment officer for the X Global office, today's webinar, it's like a lecture for myself. So it's very informative and inspiring. So I noticed that we have a lot of attendees today.
Oh,
so
great.
I believe that design school have great impact around the world. So now it comes to the part for the QA between me and the Tusa and Marco. So I'm gonna raise like 5 to 6 questions. Prepare for international student. So Tusa's gonna provide some of the answers. I hope that you can enjoy from our conversations. It's okay. Yes, we leave to the. So these are I think that's the social media channels for design school. So you're very, very welcome to follow
us.
Yeah, it's always the last page for the webinar. And also we have our X Global social media. So if you are the international students, Hong Kong, Macau, Taiwan, and also all the students around the world. So if you have any inquiries about the applications, so please come call us or email us. And then we also have a WeChat account. So that's purely English version. So you will have updated news about XJTLU. So now it's the QA part. So Tusa, the first question for you is, can you tell us more about your background and what motivated you to pursue the master's degree in sustainable construction in XJTLU?
Okay. I hope it's not so obvious that I'm nervous. So just like a brief background. So I'm Zambian. My full name is Atusankine Salasini. I'm a Zambian, and I've done my undergraduate in architecture. So right now I'm doing my master's in sustainable construction. And I'm the second kid of 3 girls, 1 boy. So definitely doing a master's was not really in my plan, so to speak. Maybe not in my near plan, because I graduated recently in 2020, 2 years ago, in 2022. So it wasn't really in my plan per se. I was thinking of working first, but I got the push from my parents. Like, why we can help you, please just get an education. I think they're very big on education, especially for their girl children, which I think is very important. Even if I wanted to work a bit, I understood. And actually, I my dad pushed me more to do an MBA, like Masters in Business Admin, because he was also an engineer, an electric engineer, and he did an MBA. He had a master. He kind of wanted the same thing for me, but I chose architecture, and there's a whole background about that. But actually, at some point, wanted to do law. Yeah, I landed on architecture, and I was so passionate about it. I really enjoyed what I learned. And even for my master's choice, I definitely wanted to do something that could relate to that, but also not the same, which is why I have, of course, a lot of my classmates ask me, why are you doing civil engineering? And it's a bit weird, but for sure I can say it's the best choice I've made. I like to think of myself as kind of a jack of all trades. I don't want to do the same thing. I thought, let me do something similar that can kind of boost what I already know. And I have not regretted that choice since. The program is fantastic, and I'm sure we'll get into that later. But that's, I think, a bit about my background. I don't know what else I need to add.
Even coming from architecture, I can say, sorry to interject, this is one of the most brilliant students in the program.
Yeah. So, even the program, I actually had Dr. Marco as one of my
Perfect teacher.
Yeah, one of my teachers joined, and I was so happy. I'm like, oh, finally something architecture, and it was super interesting. Even the project I want to do for my thesis, I hope to get some. I haven't mentioned this to you yet, but I was hoping to get some insight because it's got a lot to do with design and energy savings in that regard. So, yeah.
Okay. So it's great fantastic to hear that your background and motivation for choosing the master's degree at XJTLU. So we're very glad to see that how your families values your dream. It's very valuable for getting support from the families. Yeah. So the second question is, what specific aspect of sustainable construction interests you the most? So how you hope to apply this knowledge in your future career?
Yeah. I love this question. It's if I have an opportunity to tell people about how great the program is and how much I've learned and grown academically, I will. But I'll try to condense that as much as possible because it's like so much. I think it's one of the main things that really got me is that I realized I had a half-baked idea of what sustainability is. And getting into this program, because also, by the way, when I was searching for a master's program, I had the option, because I knew it would have to be a bit more specialized and not general. I had the option to do, I was thinking construction management, landscape architecture, but then I came across this one and it was very different. Like sustainable construction. Whoa, never heard of that before. What's it about? And I looked into the school and here we are. So it's a very different program. And I liked how intense it was about what it's actually teaching. So I found out that sustainability actually has, not to turn this into a lecture, but sustainability has more than one aspect. Also, like feeding a bit into my background again, I have parents who are very environmentally conscious. Even when they're building, there's one project I had worked on for my internship in undergrad, and it was actually a project they wanted to do, and I was working with another architect to do it. Because it was during COVID, so I was lucky. It wasn't really easy to find work outside, so I managed to find a project to do my report on. And there was a tree on site, and they said, like, in the plan, there's supposed to be some paving there. And they said, you are not going to cut this tree down. Absolutely not happening. Find a way to design around it. And we're all scratching our heads like, what are we going to do? And that's the thing about design. It's not just, sometimes you meet problems and you have to creatively and innovatively think your way out of it. So it's more than just the environment. Like, if they're so environmentally conscious, it's the trees, the bushes, they love the nature, they really look into biodiversity and things like how it all comes together. And that has really been inbuilt in me. So I always knew I wanted to do that. Even my undergraduate, I tried to be environmentally conscious, but I didn't know that there's more to it than just the environment. There's the social aspect and there's the economic aspect. So, and I also came to learn that sometimes all these three things have conflicts. And that was one of the most eye-opening things for me. I'm like, you know what, I can want to protect a tree or I want to protect a forest, but if I kick out people who are living there, sustainable, because what about the people? Or what about the economy? I looked into the, what's it about? And I looked into the, because I'm a designer, because you have so much to think about. And that was very eye-opening for me, but also very inspirational because it really triggered just in my year here, maybe I've now clocked 9-10 months, and my thinking has really escalated. I don't see anything the same anymore. I cannot look at something without doing a life cycle assessment. If you get to do this project, you will know what I'm talking about. I'm looking at this bottle of water like, what is the life cycle of this bottle? You know what I mean? So it's amazing. It's, you know, that's really one of the things for me that was really a highlight about the book.
It's very clear. I mean, you have a wealth of ideas and design to make a huge impact to your research. I mean, your field.
Yeah. And like even about that, the fact that I have these, I don't even know how to. I have so many notebooks in my room with a different idea each one because I know it's not gonna fit. I cannot fit 2 projects in one book. I keep thinking of all these things because I also have the plan to take this knowledge and develop in my country. So it's like I see all these gaps and I see there's a possibility to fill those gaps. So it's definitely really, even as someone who wants to, I've also recently been thinking of doing a PhD, someone who wants to enter almost full-time in research, maybe become an educator as well. Yeah, this program was very eye-opening. Even as someone who came from architecture, I would encourage, don't think about it like, oh, I did architecture, I should do architecture again. You can, but it's also important to see what other areas have to offer, because you'll never know how much you grow.
It's great to hear that you are going to pursue the PhD at HJTRU because you know what? Before I joined the team, I mean, because I only joined the team for only 1 year, but I've been working for HJTRU for a long time. I used to work for graduate school and for PhD, support. Also, I'm working for a design school. So I'm very happy to see that you are going to become a PhD student at HJTRU. Yeah, so I hope that you will have, a lot of impact to research. Yeah, sure. The third question is, can you share an experience or the projects from your studies at HJTRU that have particularly inspired or challenged you in the field of sustainable constructions?
That's another
long story. Extra time. Yeah. No worries.
I'll again try to condense it, but maybe experiences so many. I feel like maybe I haven't even done enough. I feel a bit sad that the program is only 1.5 years. I would have actually loved to do my undergraduate here. Maybe something I wasn't really asked, but I will mention. But like Dr. Marco said, I think the facilities are amazing. I was looking at there's a design fab lab. I think there was some pictures of it there. Maybe the pictures don't even do it justice, because what my eyes see, you can do 3D printing, there's concrete, there's clay, there's this, there's that, there's a cutter, there's this, and the technicians are really good. They will help you. I have some friends in other programs. I've seen them do their work. It's just, I wish I did it here. I wish I did my I think I would have had so much fun model making, because that's a very big part of architecture, model making. It's still encouraged, even if we have BIM, we have software. I would still encourage you to make models, to draw them by hand. But yeah, one of the most oh yeah, other like like the experiences is, as it was actually meant, a lot of things I could resonate from the presentation. It was a very good presentation. Is the, for example, like external mentors, academic advisors, all these competitions, programs. That's a thing. Almost every week I see something. There's this submit an abstract for a symposium. Students take part in this. We're having this guest lecture from someone from this university or this company. And sometimes I look at my calendar, my little calendar, I have no room for all of this because I still have to go to class, right? And you know, site visits, all that has just like piled on itself. I tried to do a lot of stuff as much as possible. I even got an external mentor, and like as it was mentioned, these are separate from the school, so I correspond with her often. And she has a company in Shanghai, and there was an internship opportunity there, you know. So things like that, the school provides it. I feel like if you miss out on it, it's not that the school didn't have it, it's that maybe you missed out on it. You know, I always felt that for myself. And those were some of the really exciting experiences for me, especially things like competitions. I think that was fun. I didn't take part in any, but to see them. And now that I'm thinking of doing more research, publishing more papers, when I see things like symposiums and submit an abstract, submit a paper, I see it as an opportunity for me to do it. And maybe like my most complicated program recently is what I want to do for my thesis. I think it's the fact that the school is also research led is very, I think that's what triggered the wanting to pursue a PhD for me, because I mean, they're always researching something. There's always something. You can never go a week without seeing some kind of research. All the professors here are doing some kind of research. They can invite you to be an assistant. You can apply to be an assistant maybe, or ask them, I want to learn from you. And they're very open.
Internet is not very stable. We move that. Yeah, just continue.
They're very open to take you in. So I'm taking the opportunity to, they're very, it's not constricted. They want you to do what you want to do, especially with research. As long as you can back it up and have your citations, you're good to go. But there's no restriction, or you can only do this. Even for my thesis, they do give, for our thesis, they give us, you have the opportunity to pick maybe, I think, a department given title kind of thing, or whatever projects even are connected outside externally in some companies with the school, you can pick that, but you have the option to choose your own. And I decided to seize that because I want my research to build from the very beginning. If I'm going to do it, it needs to be something I can build on even when I continue my studies or I undertake my own projects later. It needs to be something related to what I want to do as a designer or as a researcher. So I had that opportunity. I found a supervisor. And that's probably one of the more complicated projects I have, because again, I'm thinking all this sustainability and all it is, and I don't even know if I can fit it in the 6 months we have to do it. But it's very scary because sustainability is also something that is not widely accepted yet. So it's one fear I have is like trying to convince people about sustainable practices, and even especially as a designer, how, because that's one of my main projects is I want to do some kind of a sustainable off-the-grid community, see how it can work in my country based on that. So how can I convince people that this is the way to go, this is a good thing to do? If I use this more sustainable material other than concrete people are used to, how can I make them buy into that, you know? Because it can be there, it can work, but people still don't want to change in a way. So that's probably
It's great to hear that you would like to have a project, I mean, that integrates your community Zambia's culture and with the environmental protections. That's very ambitious, but I think it's very meaningful, right? Yeah. So we wish you to have a huge success. So, so that question is, have you encountered any unique challenges or opportunities as international students studying in China? Yeah. How do you cope with them and navigate them?
So this is more now as an international student, but I think for the most part, nothing too heavy. I mean, of course, work is hard. Switching majors is a bit difficult. There's some civil engineering things I still can't grasp as well as someone who's done it in their undergrad. And maybe study-wise, that's where it gets a bit difficult. But I also have had the chance to try the school, the wellness thing, therapy, and yeah, this because the school has a counseling, very good, counseling. It's actually very good. I did give it a shot the first week, and I would go back if I felt like I was having a harder time, So that's one way. I think the counseling is very good. They do it as individuals or as groups if you prefer, and they have workshops and things like that. Also, just of course, sometimes it is an English school. Everything is taught in English, but I'm still in China, so sometimes language barrier can be a lot, especially since I'm currently the only international in my class, which is understandable because COVID has essentially just recently settled down, and I'd like to imagine there'll be more people later, but sometimes it could be a bit overwhelming, especially if you have questions to ask and maybe there's like some language barriers or something like that. But I think I'm lucky enough to have a cohort that's very friendly and very open. I'm always getting help when I need it. They're generally very available, and also the staff, might I say, very available. I always feel like they just want you to succeed. I feel like they just want me to succeed. If you have questions, there's so many channels to contact them: email, learning more, whatever it is, they will always respond. And whatever it is, even if it's a dumb question, I know I ask a lot of dumb questions sometimes, but they just want to make sure you know. And that's what I appreciate. Even when it's hard, I don't feel like it's so hard because I don't feel very alone. Like I don't feel like I don't feel like there's a way I can't go. If I can't, maybe I don't feel like asking my teachers yet, I can ask my friends, right? And even the fact that a lot of these things are interdisciplinary and it's encouraged with, especially within the design school I've seen, I can still ask someone in industrial design. I can ask somebody in civil engineering because I have some modules with them anyway. I have some people I can ask in sustainable energy, some people in urban planning, and I can still get some level of insight. There's no real restriction because I think design school, everything somehow eventually interrelates in a way. So the challenges are there, but at the same time, it's not, and I'm someone who I do get overwhelmed a lot and easily. So it's shocking that I've had a very positive school experience. It's strange to say. I have had a very people like masters is hard. It's hard, but I wake up every morning. I'm like, this is nice. It's a stress I can kind of deal with. This is a very positive experience I've had, regardless of the challenges.
Actually, being the only one international student in your cohort is kind of challenging, but we are very glad to see. I think you made a full journey, meaningful connections with the people around. The students, even the Chinese students, they share the same background with you. So I totally agree that even like me, when I was studying abroad, so we have the same feeling. So I mean, stepping out of your comfort zone and embrace the people, with various backgrounds, that would be very essential to make sure that you broaden your visions.
Yeah.
So the next question is, how do you envision your future career path in the field of sustainable constructions? And are there any specific goals that you hope to achieve?
Okay. So in the field of sustainable construction, I guess I'm sure we all know there's no specific job that says we're looking for someone doing sustainable construction. So, but one thing I also appreciate that I've learned since I came is there's more than just conventional work. There are a lot of areas I can see sustainable construction can be applied in the field. But maybe the issue is, again, people are still not sold on the idea. So you'd have to be very intentional about where you're applying to, people who are open to these kinds of new ideas, and then you can really make a meaningful impact, because I think we all in life want to make an impact wherever we work or wherever we study. So at least for me, I kind of, for better or for worse, I don't know if formal employment is the way, especially with the way I have an idea of how the industry works in my country, because I did work for a bit. I won't be able to get my ideas across working for someone. And I've made my peace with that, and now I know there's other ways to do it. And I know for sure I want to do more research. Hopefully, if I can get it through to do a PhD, then I can do that for another portion of my life. And at the same time, while I do that research, it's something where if I find a company that I can have some kind of interaction with or supply some level of knowledge to, I would. And I mean, getting a PhD would also allow me to be an educator, which is something I would like to do. One of my, let's say, my near future plans, other than trying to publish papers or practice publishing papers and getting into more competitions, because right now I'm entering 2, just to get used to it, is I'd like to hold more workshops, especially back home with the knowledge I have. I want to try, especially for young people. I think it's important because I've seen how it's impacted me growing up wanting to be environmentally conscious, but now we can enforce that in younger people and kind of meeting, if they already like mentally know this is a better way to go, then it's something that you don't have to force them to do when they're older. They just kind of know. So those would be some of my shorter term goals that I plan to do at least within the year. And long term, of course, I do want to do bigger projects with my research and actually have physical things to say this is something. Because if I'm going to do a community-based project, then there needs to be a community to show for it, you know. So obviously there will be some construction involved, you know, design, planning. But yeah, and definitely that one in the long term.
Thank you. So it comes to the final question that we have. This is kind of the questions I'm gonna ask every international student who presents in the webinar. So what advice would you give to the prospective students who's interested in pursuing the studies or in this field, particularly who consider studying abroad?
100% do it. If you have the chance to study abroad, do it. Yeah, you'll learn a lot outside your comfort zone, for sure. And I don't even know how much more to say about that, because it's good to also, other than gaining more knowledge, interacting with people, learning about different cultures and things like that, different practices. It's good to learn to be able to grow, thrive on your own, away from home. It's difficult. I also get homesick, but I know it's worth it. The experience has been great for me, especially the great difference from Zambia, like with Zambia and China. There's a very big difference in how things are. There are some similarities, yes, but there are differences. And being in China gives me an idea of maybe things I feel like would be good for my country, right? Like how I can take some of these ideas and shape them to fit our mold, right? And I think it's very important, especially as a designer, to experience the world if you can. And the fact that the school also has the 2+2, you could get a chance to study in Europe. I've always wanted to go to Europe, really, to have like, especially as an architect, when you do architecture history, we know the great influence that Rome has on architecture. So, I mean, Europe would be nice because it would be easier to get to Rome from the UK than it would be to get to Rome from Zambia. So things like that do play a part in the study abroad experience, and I would recommend it. If you can do it, go for it. It is scary, learning a new language, being around new people, being away from home, all that is happening. It's not easy, but it's something you can definitely look back at and say it's a good thing that it was done. Yeah.
True. Yeah. So studying abroad, I think, is very transformative. The way of life. So you are making yourself exposed to different cultures, perspective, the way of life, different thinkings. So, but that will definitely enrich your ideas. Yeah. So thank you, Tusa, for sharing your insights and advices. So I think it's very, very informative webinar.